pine cones and whatnot. Move this up a bit. You can hear me better. All right. I am Nathan of the Palmetto Riflemen and New York Zouaves. Here just showing you how to make some classic hellfire stew. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and get my authentic period camping stove. Now, this is here for two reasons. Primarily just because I don't feel like setting up a fire right now, but also because, well, it's for demonstration purposes. It's going to be a lot easier for you to see what's going on, what I'm doing here. Now, the ingredients you're going to need for this, you're going to need some water, you're going to need hardtack, and you're going to need some pork grease, which you can see I got this after frying up some bacon earlier this morning. I'll go ahead and dip in my haversack. Got my canteen half right here, which I'm going to use for a fry pan. I've got my tin mess plate right there, and we've got our hardtack. Now, I'm going to be using this hardtack right here. I made this yesterday. So, of course, hardtack, standard, coming right out of the box. Looks a little something like, you know, this. It's a very hard cracker. Can't really do anything with this. Now, standard procedure, what we're going to do for this is we're going to want to go ahead and just break it up with whatever blunt instrument we have. For me, that's going to be my trusty Enfield rifle right here. It's probably going to be cut out properly. See, I broke a hole in there. Oh, that's, I'm going to have to patch that up. Now, the thing you got to realize is that this stuff really is very hard. It's going to take you about maybe 10 minutes, if you're lucky. Get all this stuff, get this ground up. And you're not looking for flour. You're not looking to grind into a fine powder, but you really want it to be ground up and a little bit rough. You know, a few bigger chunks here and there is fine. That's really what you want, because you want that consistency. You can see there, we already got some ground up, but we still have these big crackers. And well, because like I said, these things are very, very hard. This one's been softened up a little bit. Go ahead and peel it apart. It's not necessarily the best hardtack. I made this in my kitchen, so that's probably enough. So what we're going to do, all the hardtack right there, and a little bit more actually. Why not? So we're going to get that in there. Go ahead and take my hat off. And just go ahead and soak all this in water. So we're going to get that nice and wet. Soak it up. And go ahead and get a fork out and, you know, just stir it around a little bit maybe. Let's see. Where's my fork? Here we go. You want to get that all soaked up, and the goal here is for, you know, it to be completely soaked. So while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the stove, or, you know, of course we normally already have a fire going quite a bit by this point. Go ahead and put that on there. Ugh. Butane smells delicious, so going to go ahead and get our pork fat and just set that right down in on there, and we want to get that fried up in there. Probably more than enough. Now, getting all that pork fat fried up there, and while it's frying up, we're just going to go ahead. Actually, go ahead and wait for that to melt all the way. And we're just going to go ahead and try and drain this out a bit. Be careful of backsplash. Probably put a little too much pork fat in there, but that's alright. Alright, there we go. All in there. And we're going to let that simmer for a little bit. Like I said, really... Did that go out? Yeah, that did go out. Like I said, really put too much pork fat in here, but not a huge deal. Now we're just going to let that try and simmer for a little bit. Oh yeah, I definitely put way too much pork fat in there. Yeah, it is, that's way too much pork fat. Yeah, starting to boil, don't want that. Let's turn that down a little bit. Still want to keep the heat on, but just a wee little bit. Now keep in mind that fat does boil a lot quicker than water does. Yeah, it does not look that tasty, does it? But soldiers out on campaign weren't exactly eating very well either, were they? I'll see if I can't go ahead and get some of the excess grease out. And there we have it. A tasty, homemade Civil War hell-fired stew. Let this cool down a little bit, maybe. See if I can't eat some. Tastes about how you expect, really. This is flour and kind of a pork taste, you know, bacon taste. I mean, really not all that great, but this is all that I had to eat. Certainly prefer this over nothing. Now, keep in mind as well, definitely not an expert on this. It's my first time making it, and could have gone better, but could have gone worse. Tune in next time, and I'll show you how to make the world's worst coffee.